Hey, DDTHJ here, and I'm going to show you today MCPU. I've got two of them here. MCPU is module CPU. It's essentially a bus manager, more or less. Instead of programming it like mostly okay, we don't have a standard for instruction sets, but this one differs in the fact that you don't directly address opcode. You don't directly address anything. Instead, you're addressing a port on the bus. Sort of a port on the bus. And what you address the port, and then you give it data, and then whatever's at that address on the bus will do whatever you want with the data. In my case, my A and B for the ALU are both modules. My program counter is 2 modules. I think it is. Yeah, it's 2. My modem I have hooked up to it takes up 2. This display takes up 1. I can output to this display. And then that gives me, well, I also lazily have my opcodes as addresses. So if you just address that opcode, then it'll do the opcode. Normally you would address a decoder which would decode the opcodes for you, but I was lazy. And that would also free up more modules. Right now I only have 4 modules left available on the CPU, and I could hook up RAM to that. I could hook up whatever I wanted to that. Although most of, this first MCPU was mostly designed to hook up with Connect 3.2, which is my most current working 4-bit, technically 5-bit, but 4-bit modem for 2-line one-way serial, 2-tick serial specifically. And what we have here, the setup, this MCPU is currently, well, they're not running now, but it would count upwards. It would just x equals x plus 1 essentially, and it would send x to the CPU, which will take that and display it, which is pretty neat. The next step forward is to get this one to get 2 numbers and send it to this one to do the calculation of the numbers and have it send back, which would be really neat. However, the issue with doing that is that programming on this, it's slower since you have to address stuff indirectly almost. And it's mostly just slower because it takes an extra line of instruction to do what most CPUs can do in one. So the concern is that my new programs that I have planned for it will not fit in the ROM, which is why I've designed MCPU 2, which will support double the ROM. And no, that does not cross into their plot. The trick is a 5-bit program counter, and the 5-bit program counter is, instead of being, I actually think it's 1 module on MCPU 1, it's going to be 2 modules on MCPU 2. If you adjust the first one in terms of branching, you can branch to the first 15 lines. If you adjust the second address for the program counter, you can branch to the next 15 lines. Also, the idea for MCPU 2 is to support multiple branches. My modems typically, they have a custom way they branch. So I want to be able to have, I want to be able to support multiple types of conditional branching, or multiple conditions conditional branching, which means like branch of true or branch of trigger from modem, and have it be able to branch to different addresses, which is the goal for MCPU 2. But that's about it for MCPU so far. It's quite a bit actually, but pretty neat CPUs. You can hook up anything you want to them. Great for testing hardware. If you have any questions, just ask me, and thanks for watching.